this is Dinkel, and this is Dinkel Does. This is a series of guides covering various types of content in World of Warcraft. Today we're actually going to be looking at the Horrific Visions of Stormwind. Jumping right into it, firstly we're going to want to decide what route we're going to take. When you initially enter the Horrific Vision, Rathian actually gives you the option to view a map before you enter the actual vision. So if you're not sure what route you want to take, this is a good time to just sit back, hang out with Rathian a little bit, and plan out the route that you want to take during this vision. But of course, your starting area, you get no choice. In Stormwind, we're going to start in Cathedral Square. While we're here, we're going to be losing 6 sanity a second, while our madness this week is Promised Power. This is actually a fairly decent madness to deal with whenever we're fighting Ilaria later on, but now to tell you what it does. So occasionally during this madness, a small ring will appear near your character. Standing in said ring will actually give you a decent damage buff, while ignoring it will actually cause you to lose out on 10% of your outgoing DPS. Now whenever we move on to our corrupted areas, we're going to be losing 8 sanity a second, which doesn't seem like much, but it goes a lot quicker than you think. Not to mention this week we're dealing with the madness Scorched Feet, or as I like to call it, the floor is lava. So with this madness, occasionally flames will start to sporadically build around your character, and don't worry too much about those. This threat's actually going to deal with itself automatically. While you're moving, you're going to take a leap of faith over a pool of lava that's not quite there yet, but once you land, it will be there. You're just going to want to avoid that pool of lava. And if you're doing these Horrific Visions solo, it's really not an issue whatsoever. In fact, this madness can actually be helpful sometimes whenever you're trying to avoid a mechanic. The corrupted zones in Stormwind are the Dwarven and Trade districts, and we'll go over those more later. Next we'll be dealing with Lost zones, and here we'll be losing a whopping 12 sanity a second, which is double what you're losing in Cathedral. Now if the sanity drain isn't enough for you already, we've been blessed this week with the madness Leaden Foot, or as I like to call it, the most frustrating thing I've ever dealt with. While you're in combat, you're going to quickly acquire a stacking debuff that slows you dramatically with each tick. And druids, you don't get to get away with this one. Hopping in and out of forms will not actually clear the debuff. The only way to really deal with this madness is to not move while in combat, which is actually quite a problem in the Mage Quarter, but more on that later. Now we'll be going over each of the zones in Stormwind, and at the end I'll show you my preferred route for this week. Briefly touching on Cathedral, the only notable NPCs here are the Fallen Riftwalkers, who guard you from malaria. They have 2 abilities, Shadow Shift and Rift Strike. Shadow Shift is a shadow step with a cast bar, so don't really bother rooting these guys in place, it's not going to help you later. Their next cast is Rift Strike, which after they finish their cast, will cause a stampede of tentacles in a line. They move pretty quickly, but as long as you sidestep the ability, you'll be fine. From Cathedral, you'll either exit from the northeast or southeast, depending on if you're going to the Dwarven or Trade districts. Right now we're going to cover the Dwarven district, so we're taking the northeast exit. So on our way there, we're actually going to run across these blobs on the bridge. And you don't actually have to take the time to fight these. You can simply run over them and you will end combat after just a few seconds. Once you're over here, you'll help Kelsey Steelspark kill a couple of gnomes who've gone mad, rest in peace brothers, before taking the north entrance into Dwarven District. Once we're in here, it's just time to kill some mobs and drop some bombs. There are 8 bombs in total, and currently there's a misleading node on the map that's not actually a bomb, but later is going to be where you blow the bombs up. I've run this on a few different tunes, and as far as I can tell, the spawns for the bombs happen in all the same places. So let's take a moment and see where those bombs are. So after you've placed your first few bombs, you're actually going to run into the Forge Guard, who's a little mini-boss in this area. He has 2 abilities that you're really going to want to look out for. One is actually a Curse Strike. This is called Void Tainted Blades. That's going to slow your character down. And the next is a jumping ability called Entropic Leap. To avoid Leap, sometimes your Scorched Feet can actually help you out, but we're not going to count on it. Your best bet is as soon as he starts casting Entropic Leap, start moving. Once you've dealt with the mini-boss and planted all the bombs, next we go blow him up. This is going to get the boss upset and he's going to come out to fight us. Therum Deepforge will show up, and once he does, you can start combat with him. He has two main abilities, one in which he throws bombs on the ground, simple as don't stand in the bad, and the other one is a frontal beam attack called Empowered Forged Breath. Just don't be in front of him whenever he casts it. Get used to the bombs as well, because this is the ability Alaria gets later on. Now that we've wrapped up in Dwarven District, let's head over to the Trade District. Again, we'll find these blobs on the bridge, and just as before, we can ignore them and run right over them, dropping combat in just a few seconds after we leave them. Trade District takes a bit more time than Dwarven District did. Our main goal here is we want to kill the ads, kill the mini-boss, kill the boss, and then free 8 prisoners. Once we've downed some ads and gotten to the mini-boss, this Inquisitor has 2 abilities that we're going to worry about. Or only one if you're actually solo. His first ability is called Agonizing Torment, and it's a channeled attack that drains 7 sanity per tick. If you're solo, you'll be able to interrupt this once before he starts casting it again. Just burn him down as quickly as you can and move on. His other ability is Convert, and if you're in party, this is going to make you hostile towards one another. Note that you'll still have control over your own character, but be careful of AoEs and you're not going to be able to heal each other for just a second. After we've cleared out a few more ads, it's time to fight the Slave Master. He has 2 abilities we're going to watch out for as well. One is called Chains of Servitude, and once he does this, it will silence you and draw you towards the Slave Master. The drawing in is actually slower than your running speed, so just run away from the boss and you'll be fine. It's fair to keep note that this also silences you, so you won't be able to attack him during this phase. During this fight, he'll also be summoning tentacles to slam on the ground. They have a projected path, so just don't stand in front of them. Once he's defeated, congratulations. Just go free the prisoners and you've completed the Trade District. Next, we're walking into Old Town. Once we're here, we're going to defeat 2 mini-bosses before fighting Matthias Shaw. We'll be taking on our Master first, who has the abilities Blade Flourish and Roaring Blast. Blade Flourish is a Blade Storm type move. Just move outside of the circle and you'll be fine. It does charge rather quickly, so move as soon as you see it pop up. The next ability is Roaring Blast, and similar to other gun type abilities, she's just going to shoot in front of her, so don't stand in front of the gun. Through the rest of Old Town, we're going to be keeping our eye open for SI7 informants. They actually have an ability that will stun you called Touch of the Abyss, and being stunned inside of Horrific Vision is a dangerous thing to happen. The next mini-boss we run into is going to be the Infested. He has 3 abilities: Corrupted Blight, Lurking Appendage, and Blight Eruption. The Corrupted Blight is a dot, and it's pretty significant damage. If you have a way to remove disease from yourself, I would, just to get it off. Lurking Appendage will summon tentacles underneath you that actually drain sanity. And then finally there's Blight Eruption. This puts an AoE ring around your character, and I'm pretty sure it'll do some significant damage in groups. Once we've gotten past the mini-boss, we'll either open the monoliths with Valera, or with another party member, and go fight Matthias. Once we get to Matthias Shai, he's actually not a hard fight at all. He's going to summon these Eyes of Chaos, and as they're casting their ability, you don't want to be looking towards them. Other than that, Matthias Shai will vanish every now and again, and these rings will appear around the fight. Just make sure you're not standing in any of those, and once he reappears, continue to DPS him down. Once we're done here, we can take our portal back to the Cathedral Square. Finally, let's go over to my biggest headache this week, which was Mage Quarter. Once we made our way over to the Mage District, immediately we're going to find two of those globs we've been passing up this whole time. We actually want to kill these, because they will slow you down to a crawl. So get ready to kill these the entire time you're here. While we're in this zone, we'll be hunting down 5 Portal Masters, and a couple of them are sort of hidden, so pay attention to the clip if you want to know where all 5 are hiding. The first mini-boss of this zone, the Boundless Corruption, is where the Leaden Foot actually starts to really ail us for the first time. This thing will constantly throw out little orbs that smash into the ground near it, and of course standing on one of these impact sites will do a fair amount of damage and drain some sanity for you to boot. His second ability is Chaos Breath, which is a frontal cone attack. Just don't be in front of him whenever he casts it. This too will drain plenty of sanity. Now in the clip you'll start to notice that I actually don't have enough movement to avoid everything, so an ability like Disengage for hunters or even the Boomy Disengage is really going to be helpful here. Now back to those Portal Masters. Now we come to our last mini-boss, Zardeath of the Black Claw. He's our last Portal Master. He has 2 main abilities, Rain of Fire, which puts a circle on the ground, and it rains fire. This will do some damage and drain your sanity, so make sure that you're not standing in it. He'll also summon little Void Walkers. These, once they die, will blow up and also drain sanity. Try to kill him before he summons his second set of Void Walkers, because these actually don't despawn whenever he dies. And then finally, it's time to go confront Magister Umbric. During your fight with Umbric, he'll occasionally cast Entropic Missiles. These missiles will actually drain sanity from you, so you want to interrupt these whenever you can. Occasionally, Umbric will teleport from one side of the portal room to the other. You have to make your way across the portal room and basically touch him to make him attackable again. This again is where Leaden Foot really feels painful as a madness. Dodge the bad blue stuff on the floor and defeat Umbric. And that's all the areas in Stormwind. Next, I'll just be playing a clip of my preferred route this week. Our cloaks are able to bump up to level 9, which requires 4 areas to be done. If you're significantly geared, you could potentially clear all 4 areas in one run. But for sake of simplicity, I'm going to assume most people are going to do 2 runs, in which case we'll be doing the Dwarven District and Trade Districts twice. So enjoy this clip, and we'll chat afterwards. Thanks for checking out the video. I'll try to get the Orgrimmar video out early next week, and I have a few other ideas for videos involving gearing alts or maxing out your weekly conquest with virtually no effort. Until then, feel free to leave me some constructive feedback and have a fantastic day.